Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Spy. We're here with True Spy Gaming, and I am bringing to you here my commentated guide on how to do the God Queen's Fury quest, the Sigrun Challenge. Essentially, what you need to realize before you get right on into this is that this is not a DPS race by any means of a challenge. The only point that would be a DPS race per se is when the caster puts his shield up, which you need to DPS down. However, it's only a 5 million damage shield. If you cannot do 5 million damage before his cast completes without popping cooldowns, etc., etc., you have other issues outside of it being a DPS race. Alright, here off the start, you see me since I'm doing this as a Retribution Paladin, I CC Sigrun. Easy enough, just go ahead, start the encounter, throw your CC on her, that way you just don't have to deal with many of her mechanics for the most of the fight, because whatever she throws down them Fel pools, those do a lot of ticking damage if you stand on them, and they're a pain in the ass. Alright, here you see the Jarl now beginning to become empowered. He did his little yell letting you know it. Easiest way to take care of this, just go ahead and either slow him or stun him. You see that I slowed him there, kind of kited him around a little bit, and at that same time the runes came up, hence why I was going in the circle. He started getting a little bit close, so there I stun him. Now, I mentioned those runes there that the rune seer summons. If those disappear, they do explode, dealing a ton of damage. Easiest way to deal with that is like I'm doing right here, just kind of stand around this inside circle. Do not go outside of it. The runes will always spawn around this inside circle. Near the bottom of the screen there, you'll see a golden orb as well. Those golden orbs restore your health. A Valkyrie from Odin comes in and drops them for you. If your health is getting low, go ahead and grab them and take care of that. It'll restore some of your health, get you good to go. But honestly, the ads of the Fel Council, the God Queen herself, really don't do enough damage by meleeing you as it is to really be of worry. Once again, all this is a straight up mechanics fight. Right here you see Rune Seer putting their shield on. This is what needed to be DPS down, the 5 million HP that needs to disappear before the cast completes. Once you get rid of that, you'll see the bar turn yellow right there and interrupt it. I also see a green Fel pool come in as well. That is from the God Queen. That is the most annoying part of this fight. If you can keep her CC'd most of the time to avoid that, that's the best way to deal with that. And then you also saw those Valkyries that the God Queen summons, and here's Jarl's second ability, a Whirlwind. Basically sucks you in, and if you get close, it deals a ton of damage. All you need to do is just run away to avoid this. Sigrun then also becomes immune or diminishing returns to the CCs at a point in time. At that point, save your stun for when Sigrun begins to cast her Blood of her Father ability. This Blood of her Father ability is constant pulsing damage. If it pulses too many times, you will die. This is the area right here that I found actually the most difficult, where a whole bunch of abilities started overlapping. Here you have the Valkyries, where of course you gotta find the one open spot. At that same time then comes the shield, and I believe the Jarl also empowers that, or I get some runes here at the same time. There's a place where right after the shield there's some runes that I got coming in, and then the Jarl became empowered, which increases attack speed and damage as well. And just to basically deal with that, I just kind of said screw it all and bubbled and took care of the runes. Let's get another Valkyrie, go ahead and just jump in the middle there and avoid it. Easy enough. The opening will always be somewhere around the middle, somewhere once again touching this inner circle. It's never going to be near the outsides, so that if you remember just stand around this inner circle, you'll definitely have an easier time of doing this. This I think is the part that was the overlap. The runes, the Valkyrie, and then the Jarl becoming overpowered. And then another runes comes in right here, I believe. Yep, another runes while I was cutting it around. So then you'll see me right about there say, fuck it, I'm going with the bubble, and I'm just going to take care of this. I actually did end up missing one of those runes right there, because I didn't run over it, so it detonated, but it didn't matter because it was empowered. And here we get into the same situation. We have the runes, we have the Valkyries, you got to pay attention to where it was, and then you got to try to get rid of the runes all at the same time. Didn't get quite to that one because the Whirlwind pulled me back, but since I'm using Perdaz, that 1 mil shield really helped. Easiest way to deal with the Valkyries, you'll notice when Sigrun tosses them out that you can see where the purple orbs go from her body to the side right there. That'll give you a general idea of where they'll end up at, and you'll even see as we go later on in this fight, I didn't really start looking at them until they were just about to come across. That definitely help me be able to deal with some other abilities later on, especially when Runeseer decided that they wanted to just continually cast their shield over and over. Right here we've hit the point where Sigrun is suffering from this diminished returns. Not touching her anymore until I can get a decent repentance off. That repentance went on, I believe that was a 30 seconds, so I did it a little bit earlier than I should have, but no big deal. Got her out of the way, and once again I'm trying to stand as close to this inner circle as I can, because that's where either any of the safe spots will happen, or if the runes come out, where the runes will appear. And all I really wanted to do was CC Sigrun on one side, keep my eyes up over there to make sure, you know, what the time left on repentance is, and stay on the other side of the circle so I can AoE these two down. It is also worth mentioning at this point that all three bosses do share a single health pool. While you might go in and say, holy crap, they all got, you know, 220 plus mil HP, they all share the health pool, or share damage, I should say. Right there, I missed a Valkyrie, but it didn't matter because I had Perdaz up, so I didn't bother moving because I wanted to take care of some other stuff at that time and just get as much damage as I can. But all these bosses do share damage taken. They have different health pools, so Jarl will die first, then Runeseer will die around the same time the God Queen dies. But they do take the same damage. Damage dealt to Runeseer goes to all three of them. That's why if you want this to go quicker, you can AoE. However, I was more concerned about being able to get this shield right here down, so I went with my single target abilities. Instead of taking Divine Hammers, I went with Blade of Wrath. Give me the procs, give me more ability to do single target damage, especially with our new Ashbringer ability that buffs the damage of Blade of Wrath. Now, if you're not specifically a Paladin, I would once again recommend staying with some of your single target abilities, while also putting in for a little bit of survivability. Make sure you have a CC, and make sure you have a stun. You need the CC so you can keep God Queen CC'd 90% of the time, the stun for the moment when the God Queen's about to cast their overpowering ability, that way you can stop it before it happens, or after one or two gets off before you die, and that way you don't even have to deal with that at all. Throwing the spear once again, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You might see one, you'll see one a little bit later on too, where the spear is thrown and Runeseer is in the middle of that spear Fel pool there, and I'm trying to DPS the bubble down. All you gotta really basically do is, if you position it right, the Runeseer will always be near the edge of one of the spear pools. Here I kind of messed up a little bit, didn't pay attention to how close Runeseer still was, and ended up cleaving over to Sigrun. But it was easy enough to deal with. Right here I just didn't even bother with it. Went and took care of the Valkyries. I had my wings up, I had 13 to 15 stacks. I knew all I needed to do was go over here and hit it 2 or 3 times. The shield would pop like that. And there we go. Another spear throw, got a repentance, CC'd right there so I don't have to deal with her anymore. So now basically all it just becomes is paying attention to where these Valkyries are. Once again, see how that's right around the circle? If you're around the circle, you will be safe through any of the Valkyries. Here comes the Ancestral Knowledge once again. DPSing that down while AoEing onto Jarl. Basically, once again, this is a straightforward mechanics fight. This is one of those examples right there where if you're around that inner circle, it's a lot easier to avoid those Valkyries because the opening will always be around this inner circle there. Ancestral Knowledge once again. This is now the point where the Runeseer will continually cast Ancestral Knowledge on an increasing frequency, and aside from the Ancestral Knowledge, the Valkyries are all that you have to deal with. If you've noticed that Jarl has not cast an ability for quite a while, Sigrun has been CC'd, or stunned for most of the time, and hasn't had the chance to cast her empowering ability, and for the most part, she basically stops casting, I think roughly around 50%, at least on my 3 attempts. This was actually my 3rd attempt at the kill. I never noticed her cast it after 50%. For the most of this fight, I have been just straight up attacking the Runeseer. Since the Runeseer is the only one that really has this quote-unquote DPS requirement of getting rid of the 5 million damage shield before the cast or the one-hit cast gets off, the Runeseer is really the only one that you can really bother DPSing. The damage is shared, even though the health pools are different, and it basically takes care of all the mechanics you really need to worry about. So once again, there you see I have Sigrun CC'd on one side of the circle, I'm standing on the other side, and then here I just go ahead and I'm like, alright, I'll just deal with all 3 of you together. Because at this point, mean, it's pretty much over at this point. You just have the Ancestral Knowledge and the Valkyries to deal with. Sigrun's throwing her spears, just don't stand in the spears straight up. I mean, avoid the Fel pools, easy enough. AoEing all three of them down here at the same time, doing enough damage to chunk Jarl. Jarl's almost gone. When Jarl hits 0, he bows out. I think Rune Seer was about 7% where he bowed out, and I think that was only because Sigrun hit the 20% where Sigrun bows out. So you don't technically kill them all, you only kill the Jarl, and I believe you would kill Rune Seer if I hadn't DPS Sigrun individually at a few different times right there during the fight. But Sigrun, once Sigrun hits 20%, the fight is completely over. So that's the majority of what you'll want to do during this whole fight. Remember to take survivability. If you have Purdas, wear it. It is a lifesaver. It'll save you from a few Valkyrie walls. It'll save you from a few other abilities, from standing in pools for a little bit. It'll give you a few more ticks if Sigrun gets her ability off once or twice. If you have Agramar's Stride, I'd recommend using them as well, so you have the movement speed, because once again, it's not a DPS race. The only DPS check is being able to do 5 million damage within a certain amount of time there and then interrupt. Simple enough. And make sure you take a talent that gives you a stun as well as a CC if those are talented. As a Retribution Paladin, I took Repentance, and then I also took Justicar's Vengeance as a Retribution Paladin, just in case I needed some quick healing because I screwed up for one reason or another. So if you have, as a DPS, an ability like that that'll give you some quick healing as well, go ahead and take it. Once again, don't be worried about not being able to do enough DPS. I cannot stress that enough. Don't think it's a DPS check, think of it more as a skills check. Avoid and handle mechanics, and this fight and hidden artifact appearance will be yours. And once again, I would like to say thank you for watching, folks. If this did give you any help on this fight, go ahead and like, comment, rate, subscribe below. Check me out on Twitch. I do stream quite frequently. Actually, I'm trying to make sure I do a streaming every day, but I do stream for sure Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. You'll catch me on my Retribution Paladin, whacking out some Nighthold or whatever the current tier at this time is. Other than that, on the weekends I will try to get on for a few hours. If you want to know more specifics, go ahead and check me out on Twitter at TrueSpyGaming. That's when you'll know when I'm coming on. I'll usually post on there about half an hour in advance. But until the next video, which should be coming out very soon, I do hope to get about 2 or 3 more out the same week as this, since I do have my computer back and we're good to go. This is Spy with TrueSpyGaming signing off. Stay frosty, my friends.